Hey schoolers, and today I'm going to give some tips for incoming freshmen, so class of 2024. So we're going to start off pretty basic. I think everyone has heard this tip before, but do not run to your classes. Unless you're literally going to be late, if you don't sprint, then you should not be sprinting because it makes everyone else very annoyed. You should basically only do it when you absolutely have to, not just to be the first in line or to be the first in your class, because no one likes it. On to tip number 2. So this is more of like, you don't know anyone at your new high school. Where should you sit at lunch? And saying that we're sitting in the lunchroom, which we're probably not for next year because of COVID, you do not sit at an empty table because it makes you look very weird. What you should do is, if you can, either get a library pass and go to the library, sit on the stairs, or find anyone else to sit with. It doesn't even matter if you know them, just like sit on the far side of their table. But sitting at your own table makes it look like no one else can sit with you. So kind of weird. You don't want to do that. On to the next tip. This one is just more of like something you need to do. I would say become best friends with all your teachers if you can, because they can sometimes grade you differently on if they like you or not, and correct your grade on that. So definitely get to know all your teachers, and don't think it's just teachers' pets that do that, because it's definitely a useful thing to do. So if it's your first day of high school, you should not be talking to a senior or a junior. You should primarily talk to freshmen, but if you need to ask a sophomore where something is, ask a sophomore. Don't ask a junior or senior, because they probably get that question the whole day and it makes them very annoyed. So try to ask younger people questions if you can. That's what I would suggest. This one is a very important tip. So say this is your first time going to the high school and you don't know what they serve for lunch. You should definitely pack a backup lunch if you can, because you might not like what they have at all. And if you don't like it, you kind of have no option. So I would bring a lunch the first day and then take a picture of the calendar where all the food is, the food schedule, and that will show you what food is going to be, because it actually revolves around the week. So just make sure you don't bring no lunch on the first day, because you actually might want to have one. The next tip is definitely going to be about the first day, since that's what most people have the most questions about. If you're asking what should I wear on the first day, I would say don't try too hard, because it makes you seem like you are better or higher up than other people. So if you wear a nice outfit, high heels, a dress, or a button up shirt, that's just weird. If you don't have to, then you shouldn't, because it makes you look really annoying and kind of rich. So I would not do that. I would dress maybe a little better than you would normally, just still something that you would wear, but just maybe it's a little nicer, because you don't want to be that person in a full-blown dress with 8 hours of makeup on because you're just trying too hard. You don't have time in the morning to do that. You cannot sleep enough already. So you want to definitely minimize the amount of time it takes to get ready in the morning, because you might start at or before 7:30, and that's very early. I have to wake up at 6:15 every day, and that's so early. So I would say definitely don't put too much into getting ready every morning, because people understand that you probably don't have time to. And now we're moving on to the final tip. This one is very, very important. So let's say that you got B's throughout all of middle school. You should expect that your average grade, if you study the same amount of time, to drop to a C, because the effort has to go way up. You actually have to do your homework. You actually have to study. You can't do that, oh, I was studying for an hour, but really you were on Snapchat for 45 minutes and you were just reading something for 15. So you have to actually study in high school. I know a lot of people didn't study in middle school, which is not great, because now you don't really know how to. I can provide some more tips on studying in a separate video if you want me to, because I have a ton on that. So yeah, tell me if you want that. And these are some tips for incoming freshmen from the view of a freshman from this year, and just kind of a different view from my high school. So that's what I think for some basic tips I wish I knew on the first day. and I hope these help you, and have a good freshman year. I'll see you later. Bye, schoolers.